no, not too much of calculations involved in it, right? More to deal with the various rating agencies and what actually drives them, or probably on what basis, or what are the various ratings do they give, and how do I interpret the ratings for the various. So it's just a very brief introductory kind of a chapter itself on the rating agencies, which we have to understand. The major role of any rating agency is to assess the credit worthiness of, today we are seeing of every instrument. Even for IPOs, you'll see some credit rating agencies giving their grading, right? Even for loans. See, typically the scenario is just evaluating the paying capacity of the borrower. To what extent he is sound enough. So even if he is taking a loan, to what extent you can be assured of receiving your payment. That is what is the major role which any credit rating agency is performing. So there are two things which they generally evaluate, which we have to be very careful of. They evaluate the issue. Issue is nothing but the specific bond which has been raised. They provide an evaluation for that issue, or they'll also provide an evaluation for the issuer. Issuer is a company as a whole. Issue is different kinds of bonds, because a company can issue 4-5 types of bonds, 4-5 bonds. Each bond may have a separate credit rating. Overall, the company can have a separate credit rating, right? Because see, if for the initial borrowing, where let's say a few hundred million, probably the company's overall business structure is so solid that they can pay that loan very easily. So that will get a very high rating. Whereas another 1,000 million they are raising. Now that extra capital, the position of the company may not be that strong enough to repay that much amount, because unless they find avenues to run their business for that 1,000 million, they cannot generate profits and they cannot pay interest. So what could happen? The higher the amounts that are getting raised, the higher the risk comes in. Let's say even in an individual standpoint also, if I want to borrow a 10 lakh loan for my house, banks give it without too much of